The Republican-appointed Supreme Court justices last year famously immunized President Donald Trump against criminal prosecution for his official actions. But the ruling did not extend the same protection to the people who work for him in government. That distinction is now spurring more Trump critics to raise the prospect that other top officials in his administration could someday face legal liability, including possible criminal charges for some of their most questionable moves. Both Democratic leaders and small-d democracy advocates are pointing to actions that a future administration might scrutinize for potential criminal violations, such as boat strikes in the Caribbean and immigration raids in Chicago. While the Supreme Court has protected Trump, others participating in his decisions don't have immunity, House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries pointedly said this fall. And the reality is, the statute of limitations is 5 years, and there will be accountability with the next administration, if not before. But even discussing the possibility of future accountability for Trump aides and advisors is deeply controversial among its critics. Some worry it could backfire in the 2026 midterm elections, both by distracting from a key message of affordability and by helping Trump to energize his base, the way he did with his own indictments before the 2024 race. Others counter that raising the prospect of eventual criminal liability represents the best hope of restraining the behavior of Trump officials now. Trump, of course, could render this debate moot by issuing sweeping pardons for people in his administration before he leaves office, presumably in January 2029. But Ezra Levin, co-founder of the liberal activist group Indivisible, said that even if such a move precluded actual prosecutions, pressuring Trump into that step would crystallize valuable debates. Make him do it and then allow the public to decide whether they should support a regime that is guarding its foot soldiers from accountability for unconstitutional and illegal acts, Levin said. Besides, he added, if you refuse to engage with Trump for fear he might play that card, you've already lost. Questions about legality. From the first hours of his second term, Trump has tested the limits of his legal authority on virtually every front. One consequence has been dozens of federal court decisions concluding that the administration's actions have violated specific statutes or bedrock constitutional rights. Norm Eisen, co-founder of the Democracy Defenders Fund and a former White House ethics counsel for President Barack Obama, said those proliferating court decisions rebuking the administration, many from Republican-appointed judges, show that the nation is experiencing an epidemic of illegality without precedent. There's never been anything like it, Eisen said. The question that will need to be answered is, how often in that vast field of misconduct has the line of criminality been crossed, and by whom? As Eisen suggests, the discussion of whether administration officials have potentially violated criminal statutes is only beginning. Critics have focused preliminary attention on several possibilities. These include the deportation of undocumented immigrants despite court orders blocking such actions, possible Privacy Act violations in sharing mortgage records of Trump critics with the Department of Justice, and the extensive granting of pardons to petitioners with financial or political ties to the president. While the Supreme Court has ruled that Trump cannot be prosecuted for the administration's moves, Eisen points out that the same might not hold for others involved in these actions, such as the pardon decisions. If it can be demonstrated that anyone received a pardon because of favors they promised Trump, others involved in advancing that decision would be potentially liable, Eisen told me. In an interview, Representative Robert Garcia, the ranking Democrat on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, told me that at the center of our work when we win the majority is going to be taking on corruption and ensuring that we have a government that is fair, that is following the Constitution. With court cases and journalistic exposés pointing toward likely criminal activity happening across the government, he said it's important for us to document it. The White House did not respond to a request for comment about the growing discussion among Democrats and democracy advocates about the possibility of future criminal exposure for actions the administration is undertaking today.